Hi folks, welcome to our program Health with Dr. Jaffer. We'll be giving you health tips that can help you in this journey of life. Today we'll talk about a very important topic. It's high blood pressure. Why high blood pressure happens up to today we don't know. But those who have high blood pressure are doomed to have tremendous number of complications down the road. It's a silent killer in our society today. And most people don't even know they have high blood pressure. Some are lucky enough to get a headache, and that might be a symptom. But most of us are silently suffering from high blood pressure. How do you find you have high blood pressure? You go to a doctor's office, he checks you, or you go to Publix, or you go to CVS or Walgreens, and you take a blood pressure and you find, wow, my blood pressure is high. What is high blood pressure? It's a blood pressure that is creeping above 140, the systolic, when the heart squeezes. And when the heart relaxes, that's the diastolic blood pressure, which is above 90. Now, before that, you can get into this gray zone where you're pre-hypertensive, being to be labeled high blood pressure patient. But the bottom line is that this is a high pressure within your blood vessel. So I would advise you to at least once or twice a year, at least check your blood pressure so that you know where you're doing, what your blood pressure is doing, because you may become a hypertensive without knowing it. Now, once you know you are a high blood, or you have a family history of high blood pressure, then you are more likely to have one. So once you know you have high blood pressure, what do? We know for sure that once you get high blood pressure, you are destined to complications. This is, just imagine, if you had to push a very heavy box, you'd have to work very hard. If the box is light, the work is less. Similarly, for your heart, if the blood pressure is high within your blood vessels, it has to pump very, very hard. And that is a tremendous burden for your heart. So people with high blood pressure end up with a huge heart because it becomes muscular. But a big heart is not a good idea because it's got limited blood flow to it. And then it suffers. And then it suffers in its function. It doesn't work well. Now, high blood pressure also causes shearing force in your blood vessels, ending up with a stroke. Also, it destroys your delicate blood vessels in your kidneys. So these delicate tubules which carry blood through them and ultimately create your urine, which is a very important way of getting rid of your toxins and your materials that your body doesn't need, and also balancing your electrolytes, the chemicals in your blood, and balancing your fluid content in your blood. So kidney is a very important function, but you end up destroying your kidney. So it's a double whammy, a triple whammy actually, and even more damages that we do not understand yet. So high blood pressure has become the harbinger of great distress in our society. And the older you get and longer you've had high blood pressure, the more damage that happens. So if you are ever told you have high blood pressure, and your doctor might say start exercising, start doing this, watch your salt and so on, and still within a short time your blood pressure doesn't improve, he or she will recommend you go on treatment. Please do not resist. Please start taking treatment and keep your blood pressure down. Once you know you are hypertensive, it means you are a high blood pressure patient. Please get a blood pressure machine if you can afford one. It's a very good idea. Make sure it works as well as your doctor's, so you've calibrated it and it works, gives you accurate reading. And become aware of your blood pressure. You'll be very smart to know what your blood pressure is in the morning, what is in the afternoons, what is in the evening. So you don't have to do it all the time every day, but you get an idea of what your blood pressure is doing. You become a better custodian of your health because your blood pressure is now controlled with medication or with other measures. Please be diligent in your medication. Compliance is one of the biggest problems in medical society today, that doctors give medications but the patients don't take it, and then they end up having complications. So if you want to avoid the bad effects of high blood pressure, take your medicine and start an exercise program. Start eating smart, cut down your salt. You will change your destiny. That was the health tip on high blood pressure. Thank you. Take care of your body, the most valuable gift you'll ever get. Hi folks, welcome back. This is Health Tips with Dr. Jaffer, and we're going to talk about an important problem in our society today is diabetes. What is diabetes? You hear a lot about it. In the olden days they used to call the sweet urine disease, and people have known about it for a long time. We know diabetes was as an entity for a long time now, but we are finding out that it's an explosion of the number of cases in our modern society. And one of the most important reasons is the type of diet we consume, the overeating we do, and the obesity we have, and the lack of exercise. So multiple factors that make you a diabetic. Now if your parents were diabetic, then you've got much more chances of becoming a diabetic. So we don't know why that very important organ in your body called the pancreas stops producing enough insulin. Now if it was just that, it would be enough of a problem, but you got even more problem. Let's assume sugar is a very vital component of your well-being and you survive. If you don't have enough sugar in your body, you faint and you pass out. But if it's too much sugar in your blood, it becomes a poisonous substance. So there is this fine balance that your body has to maintain of the sugar level. Now when you eat food, let's say you ate a toast, it'll get digested and it'll be turned into sugar, and your blood will absorb it and it'll go around your body, distributing it everywhere for use, because sugar is food, it's energy for your body. Now your pancreas, which is next to your stomach, there's an organ called, it has cells inside which produce insulin depending on how much sugar there is in your blood. Now insulin, just assume it's a key. And sugar needs to go from the blood vessels into the cells which will use the sugar for their metabolism, for using it to survive. But the sugar cannot go from the blood cell into the blood into the cells without entering a door. So there is a lock, and the key is insulin, and the lock is called the receptors. So your body produces enough insulin, so the doors are opened and the sugar goes from your blood into the cells. Sometimes you don't have enough keys, not enough insulin. Sometimes your receptors are few, and sometimes they don't work well. They've got resistance to that, and that usually happens with obesity and lack of exercise. Your resistance goes up, so you are insulin resistant. So all these factors end up causing high blood sugar in your blood. And then after a level that goes up, fasting should be below 100, and then after 140 we consider diabetic, and your doctor tells you you're diabetic. He does also another test which you can't fool a doctor, because you can eat very well a day before you go in for the test and the test looks good, but if you've been cheating all the 3 months before, you can't fool your doctor. He will do a special test called glycohemoglobin A1C, which will tell you how well your sugar was controlled over the last 3 months. And then when you start rising above 6, you're getting into the pre-diabetic area. Above 6.6, you are definitely a diabetic. You see, that means you're not controlling your sugar. It may be going up just after eating, or throughout the day it stays high, but high sugar is not your friend. So the simple, straightforward message is that high sugar is not your friend. And once you become a diabetic, it's imperative on you to do multiple things. It's a long topic. I'm just giving you a short synopsis on it. Exercise, good diet, watching your carbohydrates, especially free and clear carbohydrates are not good. Complex carbohydrate. God made food for you around you. It is wholesome. Don't eat the processed food, or don't eat white bread, eat whole wheat bread. And then, of course, is the medications. We start with pills, oral pills. There are multiple different types of pills. If failing which, then the doctor adds insulin at night. And if that fails, you get insulin throughout the day, and some people even end up with a pump which pumps insulin throughout the day. So what I'm showing you is a gamut of treatments, but I want you to become aware of what high blood sugar is, who can get it, what can happen, and how you can prevent it, which is most important, I feel. Prevention is the key. And finally, if you have it, how to become a better controller of your diabetes. We cannot cure diabetes yet, but we can definitely control it. So you know, diabetes is a disease that causes multiple problems all over your body. You are the custodian of your body. The sooner you know and understand what diabetes, how people get it, what is manifestations, what is high blood sugar, how to take care of it, how to take care of your body, and ultimately control the complications, because it has complications all over your body. It's one of the most debilitating diseases because of the complication rate it does. People die younger, they get heart attacks, they get strokes, they get kidney failure, they get multiple medical problems. You don't want those. You want to be able to be preventive and early detector if you are going to have it, and fix it and keep it under control. Thank you. Welcome back. This is Health Tips with Dr. Jaffer, and today we're going to talk about coronary disease. I am quite sure each one of you are familiar with one person or the other who's had a heart attack. And this is the nemesis of modern living today. In the villages of Africa or China or India, there's no heart disease and there is no cholesterol problem. But if you bring them to big cities or you bring them to America, they become like us within 10 years. So the problem lies in the arteries getting clogged, and mainly it's the clot in the artery, in your heart, in your brain. When you get a clot, we call it a stroke. In your heart, we call it a heart attack. And coronary artery disease is where you start getting diminished blood flow in the vessels of your heart. Now, heart is a muscle, and it pumps blood, and it pumps blood all over your body. Millions of miles of capillaries through which your blood pumps. Your heart pumps blood. But the pump itself needs food. It needs nutrition. It needs oxygen. So the artery, the pump itself, as soon as it pumps, it goes into the aorta, and from there arteries are given off which supply blood to the heart itself, the muscle. Now if these blood vessels get clogged, so the amount of blood going to the heart is diminished. Now your heart is suffering from lack of blood. But if a clot forms in any of these blood vessels, then that part of the heart dies. And this is called the myocardial infarction, which is really a heart attack. And this is the end result of coronary artery disease. But why coronary artery disease happens is mainly because of the clogging effect. And the clogging effect is by cholesterol. And we'll talk about cholesterol another day. But cholesterol clogs your arteries. But here is the irony, that 70% of heart attacks happen in vessels that are not clogged enough to even need a stent, you know, where you put a catheter and you widen the arteries. It happens in arteries that are not so clogged, but they form a clot inside. And that clotting happens as if I cut on your skin and you get a cut, you bleed a little and then you form a clot. The same way inside the blood vessel, if there is a cut there, which means a breakdown in the lining of the blood vessel, a clot forms and rapidly progresses to occluding the whole vessel, where it clogs the whole vessel and you got a full-blown heart attack in that vessel. And whatever blood it was supplying to the cells downstream are dying or dead within an hour. And this is a heart attack. And that's why they call it the golden hour. If you can get in the emergency room and get a stent put in or opened up because of clot busting drugs, then you have a chance of opening up that artery. Otherwise that artery dies With it dies the cells that were all supplied by that artery, and that part of the heart dies, causing a heart attack. If it's major enough, you die. If it's minor enough, you survive, but you are left as a cripple and you are affected. Your heart function is affected. So these are the end stages. What can you do before that? You know your family history of coronary disease. If somebody got a heart attack before you're in their 60s, you know you got premature heart disease in your family. Become aware of your cholesterol, become aware of your high blood pressure, become aware of your obesity or your body form, how you're taking care of your body, about your diet, about your exercise. You can change your destiny. How long you live you can't change, but you can change how well you live. And if there is coronary disease in your stars, you can make a change and you can make a difference. And I want you to understand that you know what coronary disease is, how to recognize it, and how to change your destiny. Remember, your body is the most valuable gift you have got, and it can't be replaced. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome to Health with Dr. Jaffer. We're going to talk about cholesterol today. You hear a lot about cholesterol. You talk about people having high cholesterol. People are today becoming aware of their cholesterol levels. And there is no cholesterol problem in third world countries like India, Africa or China, villages where their LDL, the bad cholesterol, is so low they don't get heart disease. They don't have a problem. You bring them to America, within 10 years they are like you and me, high cholesterol. So what is the cause of this high cholesterol? We don't exactly know all the causes, but we know that once it goes up, it's not your friend. Cholesterol is a vital part of our blood. It's a very important part of our hormones. It's an important constituent of our body wellness. But when too much of it is produced, it becomes a problem. So what is cholesterol? It's the fatty part of your blood that clogs your arteries. And I will show you an artery that is clean. This is a clean artery. This is how you were born. You can see through it, nice and clean. But this is an American artery full of clogging. You can see how much the lumen, which is the opening, is reduced by so much because of all these fatty deposits. This is the biggest nemesis of American hearts today. More people will die because of this clogging and the clot-related diseases than all the diseases put together. That's why cholesterol is an important factor. You must know your number and you must be aware of it. Now, cholesterol can be brought in through your diet. So only you can get cholesterol from animal products, by eating animal meats and by eating dairy products. You can't get cholesterol problem from vegetarian food. So all vegetables and fruits do not give you cholesterol. Vegetable oils don't give you cholesterol. They give you fat. But it's the fatty products from mammals and animals that give you this cholesterol. Now, having understood that, so you can, what is the right number? You see, we feel that you should keep your total cholesterol below 200 and your LDL hopefully below 100. Now, if you got diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and you got these problems where you know you're heading for a big problem down the road, you want to even bring them down further, your LDL, the bad cholesterol, even down further. You can increase your HDL, the good cholesterol, by exercising, by eating, taking niacin, or even having the skin of the grapes. So you can eat grape juice, and some people say wine, but then you get other problems, you see. So I feel grape juice is good, and or resveratrol, you can buy the tablets in the market. But the bottom line is that you have a duty to understand your cholesterol level. And once you know your cholesterol level, you must know whether it's high or not. Your doctor will tell you. And if he or she prescribes medications for it, I would strongly recommend you take it. Some people with cholesterol medicines get muscle pain and so on. So it's very important to know the side effects of all the drugs you take. So cholesterol medicines, you should be aware. But if you do take them, then you have an ability to reduce the clogging of your arteries and hopefully avoid a heart attack or a stroke. And also, cholesterol medications stabilize the clot so it doesn't become so fragile that it breaks. A fragile clogging of the artery is like a wet tissue. It can break anytime and invoke the same response as if you cut on your skin, where it bleeds and then a clot forms there. And even a broken blood vessel from the inside will invoke a clot and you get a heart attack or a stroke. So today, I hope you understand what is cholesterol a little bit more and to be aware of what its potential is for you. And please be aware, and if you have a problem, take charge of it and change your destiny. Remember, your body is the most valuable gift. There is no replacement. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome to Health with Dr. Jaffer. Today we're going to talk about stroke. We have talked in the past about how blood vessels can get clogged and cause a stroke. But what is stroke? We can call it a brain attack, just like you call a heart attack, a clogging of the arteries in the brain, in the heart is called a heart attack. In the brain, you've got all these blood vessels that supply nutrition and oxygen and blood to your cells in your brain. But if one of those vessels either bursts or gets a clot, it's called a stroke. And unfortunately, it's one of the biggest causes of death in America today. This is one of those gamuts of disease that is in the blood vessels of your heart or brain that is which is the cause of most amount of deaths in America, unfortunately. And it can be avoided. And if those who are old enough to remember President Roosevelt, how he died, it was like they said, it was like a bolt of lightning. But it was expected now in modern terms because he had extremely high blood pressure. They were not treating high blood pressure in those days. They thought it was a normal physiological response. Unfortunately, if he had been treated, maybe he would have not had a stroke. So we know that one of the biggest causes of stroke is high blood pressure. And we have talked about it once before, but high blood pressure needs to be maintained at a much lower level because it causes a shearing force. Now, a very small percentage of strokes are blood vessels breaking and you get a bleed in the brain. But majority of strokes come from a clot in your brain. And this clot can be avoided by multiple factors. Number one, also another big factor of the stroke is also when you got a heart that does not function very regularly. It has an irregular heartbeat. That's called atrial fibrillation, and you might have a clot in there and then it's dislodged and it goes to the brain and causes a stroke. So that's one big cause of stroke is also that. So you have to be aware, and it's in the older population. And it can happen to young also, but that's how they sometimes first discover that you have high heart problem by getting a stroke. So the bottom line is that it's the shearing force that really breaks the blood vessel, causes a clot, and causes the clogging of your heart. And you don't want that happening. And you can prevent it by watching your blood pressure, keeping your diabetes under control, exercising, and having your heart check as you get older especially, and preventing the problem from happening. Thank you. Remember, your health is the most valuable gift you'll ever get. Take care of it. Bye. Hi, welcome to our program, Health with Dr. Jaffer. And today we'll talk about obesity, a burgeoning problem in our nation today. 30% of our adults are obese, our children are getting the same statistics, and we are seeing an abundance of overweight people, and now they're also going to obesity. When you're more than 20 pounds overweight, you're obese. And how this extreme large amounts of bodies cause tremendous damage to your body. And we are also finding something new now. Our kids also are becoming diabetics. Type 2 diabetics was unheard of. And as you get older and you got a lot of weight, you become a diabetic also because of high weight and other problems, arthritis, high blood pressure, and so many other problems that are now becoming the harbinger of our society. And if we are not careful, each one of us is very easy for us to become obese. It really is. When we go to our restaurants, when we eat ourselves, we all supersize our foods, our plates are larger, our quantities of food is larger. And if you take more calories than you need, it goes to your warehouse. You know where your warehouse is. For men is the belly, for women is around the thighs. And then afterwards it goes everywhere. So obesity is what you don't want to have. And if you're already obese, or if you are getting there, what can you do? And obesity first has to be conquered in the mind. It's a frame of mind, how you look at your food, how do you look at your body, how do you appreciate this beautiful gift you've been given. Do you want to take care of it? Do you want to be obese and unhealthy and unfit, or you want to be vibrant and full of vitality, vim and vigor? It's up to you. Once you make up that mind that you want to be this healthy person and you don't want to be obese, then half the fight is won. Because now you will do everything it takes to change your destiny. And it means exercise. Every human being should walk 2 miles a day, 10,000 steps. Start doing that. Number 2, start watching your food. I have found out that one of the biggest reasons, we have found out in medical science, that one of the biggest reasons is we eat too fast. And by the time your body knows that enough food has gone in, you're already overeaten. It takes half an hour for your belly to take your stomach to tell your brain that you had enough. But we have eaten the food too fast. And that is the crying shame. We must slow down our eating. We must sit down and eat. We must take our time. Anytime you put your fork in your mouth, savor the food and put down the fork. That alone will cut down 15-20% of your intake. Instead of using a big plate, use a small side plate. It will fool your body into thinking you've eaten enough, because you'll be taking lesser proportion, but you will not feel that you deprived yourself. So smaller plates, putting your fork down, that alone will cut down at least 15-20% of your intake. And then put more veggies on your table, on your plate. We do not eat. We are eaters of large amounts of carbohydrates and fats and meats, when really we don't take enough veggies in our diet. So add more vegetables in your diet. Drink a lot of water while you're eating, so you don't eat so much. Half the time we are thirsty. We think we are hungry, but half the time you're just thirsty. And that might change how much you eat. Finally, I feel that those people who start watching their scale, I think all of us should have a small bathroom scale, and we should every now and then watch our weight, because you can catch yourself getting chubbier, you can start cutting back. It's very difficult when you're 100 pounds overweight to start losing weight. It's really an uphill battle. But you can stop yourself from becoming that by having constant vigilance and surveillance on yourself. So having a weight, or if you even go to Publix or Eckers, weigh yourself there. And finally, you have decided that you're going to make a change in your life. That is your destiny. This is the most valuable gift you've received, and you're going to change your life. And that's how you're going to overcome obesity, because you have made the decision, and you will take all the measures necessary to change your fate. Thank you. Remember, you only have one body. It's the most valuable gift you'll ever get. Thank you. Welcome back to Health Tips with Dr. Jaffer. Today we're going to talk about exercise. I know you hear this word all the time. A lot of people are fed up with the idea because exercise is work. Nobody likes it. It's extra. I work all day. Why should I be exercising? It's hard work. Unfortunately, it is a very necessary component of our lives. Each human being must walk 10,000 steps, which is about 2 miles a day. And that's been determined scientifically. That's what we need to do to really stay healthy, because your blood is your best doctor in your body, and your blood needs to rush around, healing you, fixing you, and even rejuvenating you. But how do you achieve that physical activity? So just look at yourself. What were we 1,000 years back? You were either farmers or fishermen. And from morning to night, we worked hard. We were physically very involved, pushing, pulling, lifting, and we got our exercise. We got more than our share of exercise. By the time we got home, we were so tired, we ate and slept. And now in modern lifestyle, it's become very sedentary. We really have cars, elevators, remote control. We have become very, very sedentary. So it has become essential that we get those 10,000 steps. So what do? I feel that all of us should dedicate 1 hour in the day for ourselves, for our body. It could mean you go walking, you go swimming, you go cycling, you go whatever you like is your passion. And I would like you to even change that. Also, you have a variety. But we must do something physically every day. At least half an hour, preferably 1 hour every day. You will change your destiny. With your blood rushing around, it heals you, fixes you, and rejuvenates you, like I said. How? It's your blood. All your repair mechanism, all your nutrition, all your vital elements that your body needs to survive and thrive are in your blood. The more it rushes around, the better it can fix you and heal you. And more importantly, your muscles need strength. One of the biggest problems of my patient, I take care of geriatric patients, and they get weak. They fall down, they break their hips, they get injuries. And one of the most important problems is good muscle structure. So if you don't lift weights and if you don't exercise, you become weak. Now, if you take a muscle and you just enclosed it in a cast, in 2 weeks, it will be half the size because it just shrank. So your muscles really wither away if you don't use them. You don't use it, you lose it. So it's very important that you start using all the muscles, not just some muscles. So you start doing different exercises like swimming or cycling. Yoga is a very good exercise and a stretching mechanism to keep you nimble. This will make you age better. This will give you vibrancy. This will give you energy. Like a lot of people who start exercising, they find that they are awake and more vibrant for longer hours. They can wake up in the morning better, they sleep better, they have better bowel movements. So we have found out that exercise is a panacea for a lot of things, and you'll hear me mention this again and again. But today I want you to know what you could do. You go to Publix, you park your car far. You go to visit a friend, don't use the elevator, use the stairs. Find different things while you're sitting watching TV. Every time there's a commercial break, get up and take a walk, or just get up and down on the seat. 10 up and downs are good for your quadriceps muscles. What I'm trying to tell you is that you got tremendous amount of opportunity throughout the day to do physical activity. Don't become sedentary. Even if you got a sedentary job, even you got a desk job, every half hour, 1 hour, get up, go and take a walk and come back. You'll clear up your mind, you'll get your blood flowing, and take deep breaths and walk and run, cycle, do anything. We are not meant to be sitting on a chair 8 hours a day. That's not how we were created. We were created to be physical beings working from dawn to dusk. You can't do that because of your modern lifestyle. You have to duplicate it otherwise. Find an hour. Make an appointment for yourself. Make an appointment to you. This is for your body, the most valuable gift you will ever get. And there is no replacement, at least yet. Thank you. Today we'll talk about menopause. This is, unfortunately, Mother Nature has got things in store for you. When a woman stops being productive in making babies, then her ovaries say, no need to make any more eggs, and it shuts down. And she stops having her periods, and she's no longer useful in making babies anymore in terms of overall nature's program. But she suffers. She suffers hot flashes, and she feels fatigue and weakness and all those symptoms that go with mood changes, mood swings, and in the beginning, premenopausal, you get the changes in her monthly periods. They become extended or they become more frequent. All sorts of things happen. There's a body change in also in her figure, in her fat levels. Everything happens. And a female is miserable, and I'm very sorry that they suffer this. And ultimately, the symptoms get better, most of the time anyway. And in the past, we were giving all these ladies hormonal treatment. We said, look, Mother Nature failed you, so we'll give you hormones from outside. And you heard of Premarin from pregnant mare's urine, but there are other products also from plants and so on. But the bottom line is that we try and replace what is being lost to women so that they may get their periods back, or they may get their hot flashes reduced and so on. And we even thought at one time we'll prevent heart disease, but it's not true, because women don't have heart disease before menopause as much as men do. But after menopause they get lots, so we thought maybe it's because of the hormones. But of course we did a study there and we realized the story is different. The bottom line is that when women are suffering in the menopausal period, they can take hormones with benefit, unless you've got history of breast cancer or other things. But there is help. But after a while, we feel we shouldn't give you, because the study showed that women get more strokes and heart attacks. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if you're a woman who's approaching her late 40s and 50s, you will get premenopausal, and then perimenopausal, and then menopausal, when your hormones completely stop and you're not making babies anymore, and your factory for making babies is shut down. With it goes down the hormonal health. So taking hormones for a while is good. Also, there's so many other herbal supplements that seem to help. So many studies show that they don't help. So it's up in the air. The bottom line is that we found out that menopausal women who start an exercise program, they start eating more fruits and vegetables, feel better, and for a short time, maybe some hormonal help from your doctor would be a good idea. And then later on, you decide how you feel with the hormones being tapered off. And if your symptoms have gone away, then you can continue without hormonal help. And also your calcium goes down, your bones get osteoporotic, so you should take your calcium. And weight-bearing exercise mainly is a great help. And also women who lift weights increase their testosterone, which helps them a lot and keeps them young and vibrant. So remember, menopause is going to come to you if you're a woman, but you can, if you know about it, you learn how to handle it, you can suffer it better. Unfortunately, it's in your destiny, but you can become in charge. It is your body. You are the best doctor you have. It's your body. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome back to Health with Dr. Jaffer. Today I'm going to talk about an interesting topic, male menopause. You've heard about it, andropause. What is andropause? What is all this? Men you find in their 50s and 60s going downhill, getting fatigued and weak and don't feel so good, and their sex life suffers and their libido suffers and they don't feel so vibrant anymore. And we say, oh, you're having male menopause. And it has been correlated to a certain extent with your testosterone level, the male hormone. And if you do your testosterone level early in the morning, it should give you an idea whether you're in range or out of range. And if you're really badly out of range, maybe your doctor will put you on supplementation with testosterone, either injections, patches, or gel. But what can you do to change your destiny with male menopause? And we have found out that men who start lifting weights, they increase their growth hormone and testosterone, they can change their destiny. And we feel that if you do that, you will change your destiny. And you may not need the treatment, you may not need the hormones, and you may not feel the fatigue and tiredness and the loss of muscle mass. So you can avoid at least you can diminish the effects of male menopause if you're going to get it by doing these things. Remember, it's your body, you have control over it, and it's your destiny. Take charge of it. You can't replace your body. This is all what you have. Thank you. Welcome back to Health with Dr. Jaffer. We're going to talk about osteoporosis. It's a very important problem with our women folk. And if you've seen grandma was hunched over, and you hear so many women falling down, breaking their hips, especially in the older age group, and you realize what's happening. Why are their bones getting so brittle and fragile? Unfortunately, this is the nemesis of Mother Nature, who has decided to stop the hormonal production because the woman is not making babies anymore, but now she gets thin bones because the calcium is not being metabolized as well and her hormonal support is gone. And the body, a woman after age 35 starts using 1 to 2% bone. She's losing that much bone. So by the time she's in her 50s and 60s, she's lost a lot of bone. And you can find out that the bone structure has really crumbled. It's not so robust anymore. And you can know this by doing a bone density test. It's a simple x-ray of the spine and the hip bone. It gives you a good idea of how much bone is leached away, literally. And your body loses that bone in the form of calcium, and you pee it away. So now your body becomes weaker and weaker, and then any blow to the hip could cause you a fracture of the hip, or any fall or any misstep can cause fracture of the spine, and that's why the spine starts curving and grandma was having a hunchback. You can prevent this, and I find if women start becoming aware of the calcium intake, especially after age 35, start taking enough calcium, drink milk and dairy products, get enough calcium for their foods, they'll do well. Natural calcium is better than just the pills. But still, you can take 1 or 2 pills. Each pill is about 600 milligrams. It's a good idea. Women who become osteoporotic, it means you have reached a certain level of loss. Then you qualify even to take bisphosphonates, a group of drugs like Fosamax, and even different Lendronate and Actonel, and even the IV drugs. All this is measured to tell your blood, hey, take this calcium that she has taken into the blood, into the bones. Another very important factor is vitamin D. We should be taking enough vitamin D. A lot of women and men are not taking enough vitamin D. It's not only important for your calcium absorption from your gut so that your calcium gets absorbed, because only 10% of calcium gets absorbed. But vitamin D has become very important for our inflammation. A lot of our heart attacks and all these problems we have in our blood vessels are really coming from inflammation, fire in the vessel, and that can be slowed down or mitigated by vitamin D. We get vitamin D from the sun, but most of us don't get enough sun, and if you do, you get skin cancer. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. But if you take your vitamin D pills, it's a good idea. As you get older, I think it's a good idea for your doctor to check your vitamin D level. You might be very low on it, and you need higher supplementation. So between all these things, what else a woman can do to make her bones strong is to give a message to your body that you need to be strong and that your body needs to maintain good bone health. How do you send the message? With exercise, by lifting weights, by doing weight-bearing exercises. What are weight-bearing exercises? Where, walking, weightlifting, swimming and cycling are not weight-bearing because your body is lifted by water or by your seat. So you need to do this exercise which sends a message to your body that take care of these bones. She's not ready to have thin bones. She needs strong bones. And if you take enough calcium and vitamin D, you should be okay. And this is a very, very preventable problem. And I strongly request all women and all men to make sure that they monitor their ladies, to make sure they take care of their calcium and their vitamin D, and an exercise program which will change your destiny. And like I tell you, your body is the most valuable gift you'll ever get. Take care of it, preserve it, and be the best custodian. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to Health with Dr. Jaffer. Today we're going to talk about prostate. Women don't have a prostate, only men have a prostate. This is a gift they have. Prostate is an important gland the size of a walnut just below your bladder, and this organ helps you in giving a lot of fluid to the fluid that a man produces when he has ejaculation. And this gland is important because it sits on the pipe that goes through from the bladder. So if it gets big, it starts pressing on that pipe, which is called the urethra, and you don't pee well. So men, as they get into 40s and late 50s and 60s, they start finding that the urination is slow and it takes time for them to start peeing. All these are signs of prostatism. Unfortunately, it's an relentless and ongoing process, and you can even develop a cancer there. Now, if your urination becomes very, very slow, and also you have to pee all the time because of this big growth in your prostate causes a dam of urine behind. So you never seem to be able to empty. So every now and then you want to pee again and again and again. You can't be very far from a bathroom. This becomes very difficult. You wake up so many times at night. So all these symptoms of big prostate can be treated with medications, and your doctor can give you that. But prostate cancer is another nemesis that men face, especially younger men, and African American men are more at it's more dangerous in younger men because they've got a long life left, and the African American men also had a more danger of getting prostate cancer. But if you are an older man in your late 70s and 80s, prostate cancer is probably a way of life, because if you do a biopsy on prostates after age 80, most of the people have a prostate cancer. You will die with it but not of it. So the treatment is very conservative. We don't do much. But if you're a young person with a prostate cancer, we are very aggressive. You want to cut it out, and we'll give you radiation and all sorts of things. So a simple test called PSA is a good way to know where your prostate is going. A rectal exam, the digital exam your doctor does, gives him an idea of the contour of your prostate. So if it's getting irregular and lumpy and bumpy, you know something is going on there and you might need a biopsy. But the bottom line is, to keep your prostate healthy, you need to use it a lot, and you need to take lots of tomatoes. Lycopene from the tomato is a very good thing for your prostate. Zinc and stinging nettle, pygium, saw palmetto, all these products help your prostate stay healthy. So use it a lot, take these supplements, and keep vigilance. You see, I think that surveillance of your PSA is a good point, because if you are having a problem, you catch it early, you fix it. Because a prostate cancer, especially in a young man who's spread everywhere, goes to his bones, it can be a very debilitating problem. It's preventable. At least you can catch it early if you can't prevent it. So take care of your prostate, men. Women, make sure your men get enough tomatoes. And that's a good preventive measure, the lycopene in the tomatoes. Once again, it's your body. Take charge. Take care of it. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome back to Health with Dr. Jaffer. Today we're going to talk about a very important entity in our life, water. You know, we are made up of water. Most of our body is water, and the most important element in our well-being is water. And without water we can't grow our crops, without water, life would not exist. That's why we're looking for planets with water, because that would mean life. But unfortunately, we in Florida are running around like dried prunes because we've got hot, humid weather, we sweat a lot, and we do not replenish enough. So my first and foremost advice to you would be, watch your urine. If it's yellow, you're not drinking enough water. Your urine should be clear. If it's yellow, you don't drink enough. And why water is so important? Because if you are thirsty, you might even interpret it as hunger, and you might end up eating more. If you are thirsty, your body is dehydrated, it's not functioning to its best. Your blood is thick, everything is not functioning at optimum. Your kidneys don't function well, you don't drain off your toxins and your harmful chemicals from your kidney well, and you punish your body literally. So I would like all of you to be a big drinker of water. Some people don't like water. You don't have to buy water. Our city water is pretty good, but if you drink bottled water, you don't like that, drink flavored waters. You can drink juices, but I don't prefer juices. I rather eat a whole fruit. But I want you to take enough fluid somehow to make sure that your urine is nice and clear. I know my patients take green tea, and that's a good antioxidant to take. So water is the most important element in your body. Also, if you drink enough water, you might not get chubby because you are really thwarting your hunger with thirst, confusing hunger and thirst. And if you drink water, and maybe you're not really hungry as you thought you were. So remember, fluids are the most important part of your body, and you're going to drink enough. So from today, you'll make a promise to yourself that I'll wash my pee and keep it clear, and I will drink enough body to stay hydrated, and my well-being is in my hands, and I'm the master of this destiny. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome to Dr. Jaffer's Health Tips. We'll talk about prevention. You see, today modern medicine has become focused a lot on illness care. When you get sick, how to cure you. But a lot of diseases are preventable if you can take the measures to prevent them. And if you can't prevent them, at least you've got a tremendous options on early detection and fixing it long before it goes broke. So let's talk about some of the common things that you should be doing. If you're above 50, you should get a colonoscopy. You catch a polyp in your colon, you catch it early, it doesn't become a cancer down the road. Women should have their pap smears. Women should have their mammograms done. These are all preventive measures. I mean, at least early detection measures. Prevention is your diet, your exercise, and surveillance is what we are trying to at least catch it early enough. A lot of us need vaccinations. Children, your parents are pretty good with vaccinating their children, though some people got worried about this side effects of vaccination. There's no proof that any of these vaccinations that we have in modern day today are bad, but people have made contentions, and unfortunately none of them have panned out. Fortunately, they haven't panned out. But as you get older, flu shots are important. If you are pneumonia shots are important. If you heard about shingles is a very debilitating problem in the elderly. When you were a child, you got chicken pox. Modern children don't get chicken pox because we give them vaccination, but in the olden days you didn't get vaccination. So if you're in your 60s, you know you never got vaccination against chicken pox, and you probably got chicken pox. So that virus stays in your body and will come out as shingles, which is painful, blistering lesions. You don't want them in your body, and they are very painful, and sometimes the pain remains for life. So a simple shot will cure you that from getting that, at least prevent it. So one more prevention idea is taking aspirin after you're 40, unless your doctor says no, it's not a good idea. It'll make your blood less sticky, so you don't get clots and heart attacks and strokes. And taking multivitamins is a good idea. If you don't spend too much money on just buy the simple ones. And antioxidants, which is more preventive. How do you do that? Fruits and vegetables, large variety of greens and colored fruits that you get out there. But we have become so restricted in our diet, so we make forage wide and have large variety of all the different fruits and vegetables. And finally, being aware of your body and having an attitude that tells you that you are the master of your destiny, and if you take charge and you do prevention, you may prevail with no problems, or at least less problems than you could have had. You are the master of your destiny. Take charge. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome to Health with Dr. Jaffer. We're going to talk about a very important element in our life, stress, the bane of our life. Stress is a response in your body to perceived threat. Now this goes back to how we evolved. You go back to the days of the cave when you were facing a lion, a mountain lion who was going to either kill you and eat you alive, or you escaped and saved your life. Or an enemy was attacking you and either killed you and you survived. So it is a stress response that you invoke in your body to fight or flight. And what happens in your body? You invoke this tremendous adrenaline rush where you get this energy and power to fight or to run as fast as you can. Your sugar is released, your cortisol is released, and all these elements take place in your body to fortify you for this extreme condition ahead of you of fighting this threat or running away from the threat. Now you're sitting in your chair and you get a bad phone call. You invoke the same response. You're driving a car, somebody cuts you off, you get the same response. You are having a discussion with somebody, but you get angry, you get upset, you get nervous, you get worried. You invoke the same response as if a lion was chasing you or somebody was trying to kill you. What an irony. This is not such a life-threatening situation, but your body is behaving as if you are under that threat. And this is a great pity, because you are not facing life existential threat, but yet your body is behaving like that, and you do that several times a day. You end up invoking all these things that eat you inside out, because you didn't use them up. You didn't do the thing that your body was expecting you to, which is run very fast or have a massive fight. So your body really suffers from inside. And stress is also a measure of attitude. A lot of people are in tremendous hardships, but they don't have stress because they've accepted their problem and decided to make a solution and follow the solution and not let it affect them mind, body wise. Remember, your mind body is a connection. There is no separation. You think, and all your cells are involved in your thinking. So it's all a matter of attitude. And I would recommend that you really listen to this story. Let me give you a simple story. That you are on your breakfast table, your wife is making breakfast, and your daughter is sitting next to you, and she's also having her breakfast, but she is not eating her food well, and she knocks over the glass of orange juice and also your coffee cup, and all that spills on you. You got your shirt dirty, your pant dirty, and you get so angry and you shout at your daughter and you get mad with her and you stomp upstairs because you've got a very important meeting today, you've got an important day at work. So you go up there because you can't go with this dirty suit and shirt and everything is soiled. You want to change it. You go upstairs. By the time you come down with your new suit and new shirt, you find that the bus is leaving and your daughter didn't get on it. And your wife says, honey, I can't wait. I'm a hospital nurse. I've got to go. Your daughter missed her bus because you shouted at her. Now you take her and drop her off. And you say, oh my God, I'm going to be late at work. She says, I'm sorry, if you shouldn't have shouted at her. And you get into a verbal match with your wife. So she's not happy with you. She doesn't even say goodbye to you. You take your daughter to school, you're rushing, you get a ticket on the way. So you're even more mad and you're even more late. And your daughter even leaves the car without saying goodbye, Daddy. And you're hurt and you're feeling bad. You go to work, you miss the most important meeting. Your boss is angry with you. You had a miserable day. You come back home. Your wife is not talking with you because you were so nasty to her. Your daughter is not nice to you because she doesn't feel good towards you. And that's the fate of what happened this morning. Now let's change to another scenario. Same incident. Your daughter spilled the coffee and the orange juice all over you. You got angry, but you said, she's just 5 years old. It's not her fault. And you tell her, honey, you should be more careful. You can't do this. You can't play with your food. You've got to be better. And she apologizes and says, I'm so sorry, Daddy. I spoiled your shorts. You go up, you change, you come down, you see your daughter has gone in the bus. And your wife is so happy with you because you were so gentle with your daughter. She's just a child and you were not angry and you didn't blow up and you held your temper and you bit your tongue. And then you go easy to work, you reach in time, you make your presentation, your boss is so happy with you, maybe he considers you for a promotion, and you come home, your wife kisses you because she's so happy with you, your daughter hugs you and kisses you. This is the other scenario. Just look what happened in the two stories. There you got violently angry. Here you held your anger and you said, it's not worth it. I'm not going to get angry. I'm going to control my response. This is what stress does to you. It changes your destiny. How you react, it's your attitude. I strongly believe that if you have a positive attitude and if you refuse to let anybody or anything change, affect you, you are the master of your destiny. You can avoid stress. You can decrease stress. So I strongly request you that to look at every situation and take a moment and judge your response. Most of the times we overreact and we do things and say things that we regret later. Why don't we just take a moment of controlled response, and you will control your stress to a tremendous effect. I'm in my car and somebody cuts me off. I can choose not to get angry and say, maybe the guy is in really hurry. He's going to a hospital or he's going to a very important appointment. I hope he reaches safely. Change of attitude. You didn't get angry. You didn't get upset. You didn't say profanity. But when you get angry, upset, nervous, worried, you invoke the same response from inside. And you start this new attitude in life. You'll be liked more by the people who love you, people around you, people who work with you, and you'll have a much better life. So from today, you're going to become the master of your stress. You get a timeline, don't get upset. Say, okay, well, my boss needs it fast, I'll get it done. It's all a matter of attitude. You will from today look at your glass always as half full, because it could be worse. And you're lucky you woke up today. Thank you. Take charge of your destiny. Hi folks, welcome to Health with Dr. Jaffer. Today we're going to talk about an important topic of arthritis. Why does your joint pain? Arthros means joint, itis is inflammation. So inflammation of the joint. There's fire in your knees, fire in your back. Why do people as they get older especially get arthritis? Some people are 90 and they have very little arthritis. Some people are in the 50 are crippled. Some people get bad types of arthritis which are called rheumatoid and lupus and other types. But the most common osteoarthritis is a common phenomenon in all of us aging, especially if you've been an athlete. Sometimes you get even more than others. So what is arthritis? If you look at a joint, it's a wonderful put together mechanism where you can bend that limb. Let's say you look at your knee joint, it bends and you can move, yet the movement does not cause friction because it has got cartilage on the ends. And even that cartilage is oiled by the synovial fluid. You got a capsule around your joint which produces that oil, so it's like a lightly oiled joint. So you got a very well lubricated joint that functions well. And if you look at the athletes, let's say you looked at Dwayne Wayne, he had a big game of basketball, but if you look at you put a scope in his joint at night, it looks like mayhem. A lot of cartilage has been damaged and so on. But by morning, he's repaired. So your cartilage repairs itself. Then why does this 70-year-old lady have no cartilage left in her hip and now she's a cripple and the only thing saving her will be a hip joint replacement, or somebody's got terrible arthritis and gets a lot of pain. Every day in the morning he or she wakes up has a lot of pain. We don't know why arthritis happens because your body has the capacity of rejuvenating and rebuilding, yet we do not repair our cartilage well. But we have found out, in the olden days we used to tell anybody with a bad joint, oh, take it easy, don't use it anymore. So these people literally became crippled overnight. Now we know that's a big mistake. If you got arthritis, the solution to help your arthritis is movement. We want you to move. Walking 10,000 steps is essential. It means about 2 miles for an average person every day. The more you move, the less arthritis happens. Patients of mine, I tell them, you got arthritis, but if you stop moving, you'll become a cripple. You'll end up in a wheelchair in a nursing home, and that ain't fun. So if you want to avoid that fate, you will keep moving. We have known arthritis, the best solution is movement. And in the morning, if can't get out of bed, take a Tylenol. Sometimes Advil or Aleve, or if your kidney is okay, ask your doctor. But these medicines will help you. And I have found out that the more you exercise that limb, the better it becomes. I'll give you a story. I had a lady who was 85 years old. She only became my patient if I didn't send her for a new knee because her husband died getting a new hip, so from complications. So I said, okay, but my condition is that you'll exercise every day. So she went to the gym every day. It takes a month to make a habit, you know that. So it became a habit to exercise every day. A year later, she goes to her granddaughter's house and she lives next to a tennis court. And the great-grandson says, Grandma, let's go and play tennis. She said, I haven't played tennis for 40 years. But because for 1 year she's been exercising that knee, it became so much better that she could go and play tennis with her grandson. And I got a hug for it. So what I'm trying to, the message is that if you exercise your arthritic joints, they will become better. And you will have much better mobility and function and less pain. So remember, you can't prevent arthritis, but you can at least modify your course. And glucosamine helps and medications help. But the best thing is exercising. And if you are too bad, continue swimming. Thank you. Remember, nothing can cripple you without your permission. Take charge of your body. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome back to Health with Dr. Jaffer. We're going to talk about lung diseases, COPD, emphysema, smoking. Your lungs are your bellows, this is where you get your oxygen. Every time you take a deep breath, you put air in your body, which has got oxygen, 20%, goes into your lungs. Your body gives out the carbon dioxide and the oxygen goes in to your blood vessels and then it's pumped throughout the body. Every cell in your body is dying for more oxygen. Now, unfortunately, we developed a habit of smoking. So many of us have been smoking for so long and are damaging our lungs. We're literally destroying our lungs, clogging it up with tar and breaking down the cells. It's a very delicate membrane across which oxygen, carbon dioxide exchange takes place. So, why would you do that? Why would you poison yourself? Why would you end up huffing and puffing? You can't even get enough air. You're hungry for air because you destroyed your lungs. Why would you end up like that? Why would you want to end up like that? Take charge of this body. So if you're a smoker today, please take heed and say, look, I love my body. It's the most valuable gift I ever get. So I'm not going to poison it with smoke. And then you can, in the olden days, you had to kick your habit cold turkey. Now you got gum, you got patches, you got all sorts of things to help you. So stop smoking. But once you get emphysema or COPD, as you call it, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, your lungs are not functioning well. So there are many medicines. You take sprays and you take drugs and you do all sorts of things. But the whole idea is to put enough oxygen in your system. Let me tell you, most of us Americans, we don't breathe right. We don't breathe enough. We are shallow breathers. We hunch over all the time. We are hunched over our desk. Open up your chest. Take a deep breath. You've just put in oxygen in your system. You made every cell in your body happy. You gave yourself a gift of oxygen. Become deep breather. I tell my patients to put stars on their TV, on your refrigerator, on your mirror, on your dresser, on your windscreen. You see a star, it's time to take 10 deep breaths. So become a better breather. Put oxygen in your system. Cut out the poisons that you put in, smoking. And if you take and wait, every pound of flesh needs more oxygen. It needs 150 miles of capillaries to pump blood through, putting more stress on your heart, more stress on your oxygenation capacity. Why would you get chubby and stress your lungs and your heart? So lose your weight. Start having better breathing habits. Start exercising. You will change your destiny. You don't want to be a cripple. You don't want to grow old with needing oxygen or end up in the hospital every now and then. You get a little cold or virus, bacteria affecting you, you get pneumonias and you get sick. You don't want that destiny. You can change it now. And if you got bad lungs, you can change it by breathing better and be taking better care of your pulmonary toilet. Remember, these are your lungs, most valuable gift you are. Breathe right, breathe better, breathe smart. Take charge of your destiny. Thank you. Hi folks, welcome to Health with Dr. Jaffer. We're going to talk about anemia. If you understand what anemia means, it's lack of blood or less blood. So why do you get less blood? Blood is very important. Blood is your mechanism through which your body heals and cures and repairs itself. Your blood is very vital. It carries oxygen, it carries nutrition, it carries all your repair, it carries its soldiers to fight infections and invaders. So your blood is your vital element of your well-being. Now, when we say anemia, we are really referring to the red cells, which are the oxygen carrying capacity cells which provide oxygen. They take the oxygen from your lungs and release it at the site of the cells where it's needed. Now, if you have less red cells or the less content of the hemoglobin, you're called anemic. Now, women have periods every month and they become anemic easily. You know why? They don't take enough iron. Fruits, vegetables, green vegetables, and they don't take enough iron, they become anemic. I strongly advise young bleeding women who have periods to take iron supplements during their periods and to eat more green leafy vegetables so you don't get anemic. If you don't have enough iron, then you're running around lack of capacity of making more blood. So I strongly recommend that women who are having before menopause, they're having their periods, to take iron. After menopause is not such a good idea because you're not bleeding anymore, and men don't need iron usually after they have grown to be adults. However, there are 3 reasons why afterwards you can get anemic besides for women having their periods. You can lose your blood. So you can have, suppose you have a major accident and you lost a lot of blood, you become anemic, you lost blood. Or you have a cancer or a polyp or something like that that's bleeding in your gut, or diverticulosis or something, or an ulcer, you lose blood. So one way to get anemia is when you lose blood. The other way is where you don't produce enough. So you have a problem with your oxygen producing capacity. There are diseases that affect you and you don't make enough. Or you make enough, but it gets broken down too quickly. Like diseases like, sickle cell disease, thalassemia, and you can have other infections and problems, and where you break down your blood. So your doctor has to help you determine why these anemias happen. So these are a whole different topic of discussing different types of anemia, how they happen. But you just broadly understand that there are 3 ways you can get anemic. Now, for women, iron is a solution. For you is to be aware. Now, sometimes I discover my patient is anemic and I start a workup, I discover an ulcer on them, or they've got a cancer in the GI tract. So these are sinister things that could be reasons of anemia. But the bottom line is that you appreciate your blood and you take care of your blood. And I strongly recommend people above 40, if there's no problem, to take an aspirin to keep it thin so you don't clot easily. Now your blood also needs to clot easily if you are bleeding. But if you bleed too much, because your blood is thin, is a problem, and you clot too fast is a problem too. So all these are interesting factors that come into play depending on your diseases. But you have a broad idea of what anemia is all about and what you can do, especially the young who can replenish their iron. This is your body. Take charge. Take care of it. Thank you. Hi, welcome to Health with Dr. Jaffer. We'll talk about dental health. I'm not a dentist, but I can tell you teeth play an important part. You look at teeth and you think of caries and broken teeth and fallen teeth and dentures, but there's more to it. Especially when you still have your teeth, you need to take care of it. You must visit your dentist frequently, especially get your teeth cleaning done, because it's the caries teeth and the bacteria in your teeth that are now we are wondering if these are the causes of multiple problems, especially inflammation in your arteries and even heart disease, and clogging of your arteries may be related to the health of your teeth. So your teeth are important. It's not just a way to eat food, but it's important for your well-being, overall well-being also. So please brush your teeth, floss your teeth. After every meal you should brush. I think you'll be the smartest person if you can do that, to be brushing after every meal. And we don't brush long enough. You should be brushing your teeth for 2 minutes at least. And the movement, your dentist told you what to do. You've been taught in school also, but we don't practice it. We know the routine, but we don't. Please take care of your teeth. They're not just not important for you for eating, but for your overall well-being. So I strongly recommend a regular checkup with your dentist and cleaning and flossing. If you only floss the teeth you want to keep, otherwise you're going to lose them. So take care of your dental health, and your teeth will take care of the rest of your body. Remember, you're in charge. It's your body. Take care of it. Thank you.